My name is Jim Caseman. I'm back again for sharing my life story. And the first 29 years of my life is really pretty bad, but I'm sharing it anyway with the thought that maybe somebody and will hear it and say, well, if Jim Caseman can go through all of that and still end up getting born again and become in the ministry for over 49 years, but maybe there's hope for me. And I actually had that happen about a month before this recording. I was in the northwest part of the United States, and I found out, I mentioned something about my suicide, and after church, the pastor said, I'm so glad you brought that up in your testimony, because there was a teenage girl in the congregation that was thinking suicide. And apparently she had changed her mind after she heard me and talked to the pastors. So anyway, we left off then in the last session that we'd ended up back in Bismarck, North Dakota, and across the river from Bismarck was Mandan, North Dakota, and that's where Jerry's Supper Club was. And of course, I don't know, probably it must have been a good number of my friends were there. And I was buying all the booze that night because I knew I was going to be dead the next morning. So I was just paying everything with bum checks. There wasn't any money in the bank. And of course, when you're not saved, you just do everything that's wrong, it seems like. And of course, so we drank and and I bought all the steaks and everything, wrote out bum checks, or a bum check for the whole thing was over with, I guess. But anyway, now we're just eating our steaks and drinking more, and we're kind of off in this one in a room off to the side there, and there was a long table that we were all seated around. And I ended up pretending that I was Jesus Christ and that these were my disciples. Now, isn't that sick? Blasphemy. Well, that night ended, went home, got some sleep, and of course I had to get up now. I'm going to hit the bridge at 11, so I'm going to have to leave town no later than 9. It's almost a 2-hour drive to Wishig from Bismarck. It's 100 miles, but it's not all interstate, that's for sure. And I arrived about 10 minutes to 11, so I just kind of circled a little bit and just waiting for 10 minutes. And finally, I got on top of the hill on highway number 3, 5 minutes after 11. It's all pavement all the way down. It's over a good half mile downhill and on pavement. So I got on top of the hill at 11:05, and away I went. Put the pedal to the floor. Brand new car, only 4 months off the showroom. It was a brand new Skylark Buick. So all I remember is I'm getting close to the bridge and the needle is buried. Now, I don't know if the speedometer was 120 or 140. I don't remember. Maybe 120 for sure. So the needle was buried. And all I remember as I approached the bridge was, as I turned the wheel, I said, "Grandpa, here I come." And that's all. I don't remember hitting the bridge. And of course, it ended up, the car's pretty much in pieces. I hit the bridge on the right-hand side of the highway, and of course, the car from the witnesses saw the car fly through the air and land on the other side of the highway in the ditch. And I remember many years later, after I'm a believer and I'm in the ministry, I'm ministering in a certain church in the state of Iowa, and a man comes up to me after the service and he introduced himself. And he was some years younger than me, but he said, I forget how old he was. He was like, 10, 12 years old or whatever. And just a boy, and he was in the back seat. Church is over with, people are leaving town, and his parents were leaving town to the west, towards the bridge. And all of a sudden he said, I heard my dad hollering, "That car's going way too fast." And it hit the bridge. And he said, all I remember is the car was in the ditch then, laying on the driver's side door, was laying on the ground, facing the ground. And I saw the man that was in that car, the body was just flopping in the car. Well, he saw that, never forgot it. Well, anyway, small town, 1,200, small hospital. The ambulance is the hearse. That's the undertaker's hearse. There was no ambulances like we know today. It was usually the undertaker. He put a little red light on top of his car, and so he must have picked me up. I don't know. I don't remember anything. And of course, the doctor was an alcoholic, one doctor in that town, and they got him out of bed. And he comes, and of course, my face. Well, there was just a lot of things. My back. I had more casts on, and my face really got it bad. Hit the steering wheel, I suppose. And I guess this eye was kind of like wanting to hang out. And my jaw was broken 2 places completely. And so you can still see some of the scars. The doctor didn't do too bad of a job, even though he was hungover. But then he told my dad, he said he won't live through the night. This is on Sunday afternoon now. He won't live through the night. And the hospital was full, so I guess they had put the bed. They rolled it out in the hallway. And I found out later, I don't remember, the nurse, told me in the hospital in Bismarck, that they never bothered to clean me up. My face was still bloody and everything else because they knew I was going to die shortly and let the undertaker clean me up, I suppose. I don't know. But then Monday morning, I'm still alive. And my father was going to transfer me to Bismarck, the capital city, and to a larger hospital. And the doctor said, if you move him, he'll die. And then my father says, well, what have I got to lose? So my father signed the papers, accepted the responsibility that I would die, and hired a nurse. And I understand my mother, well, actually, on the way to Bismarck, it was the hearse, the ambulance from the undertaker, his hearse was the ambulance, and I'm sure he floorboarded it all the way to Bismarck. But I remember he would blow his siren, when he was coming through town or something, I don't know. But I remember just for a split second, a siren, and I saw my mother. She was riding in the hearse too. But that's it. It was just a split second. And I was gone again, unconscious, then all the way up to Wednesday. But we arrived in Bismarck, immediately into surgery, and I'm told. And trying to straighten up my face, I guess. And whatever they were doing. And that was on Monday. And then I did not regain consciousness until Wednesday, middle of the week. And so then, when I woke up, I saw this nurse walk through the door. And I thought, oh my God, we don't have beautiful women like that in my hometown. And I thought, I'd never have a chance with her. Of course, now I couldn't talk. My jaw was wired shut. And it stayed that way for 2 months. And all I could eat was what you could get through a straw. So I finally learned how to talk a little bit. And I showed there was a picture of my wallet in the stand next to the bed. And I showed her the picture, and I said, do you know this man? She says, no, I've never seen him. And they didn't recognize me. And of course, some people came to visit with me, several young people from Wishy. And one girl that was with him, she walked into the room, took a look at me, and fainted. So that was that. Not too good to look at. And my goodness, I see that we're running out of time again. So we'll just pick this up in the next session then.